Hi, this is Todd Strait. I'm from Portland, Oregon. I play with vocalist Karin Allison. We've been playing together for 20 years plus, and occasionally play with Eldar. And Eldar and I played all the time for about 8-9 years, and now we occasionally get together and play, do some traveling and some recording. My first big gig was with pianist Mary McPartlin, who we just recently lost. And played with her throughout the 80s while I was there. Also played with Barney Kessel and Tal Farlow. Went on the road for a little while in 1986 with Woody Herman. And at the end of the 80s, I moved back to Kansas City. Some of the drummers that have been a big influence on me as I was growing up were Buddy Rich and Louie Bellson at the beginning. Louie became a fairly large influence, and I was involved in a 1979 Slingerland Louie Bellson contest, which I actually through that got to meet him at one point. From there, I've heard several drummers that have been pivotal to my development. Gary Hobbs being one early on, Ed Soph being another, and I got to know both of these men pretty well. One gentleman that I didn't get to know was Mel Lewis, but I lived in New York City in the 80s. And every Monday night that was free, I went down to hear that amazing big band, and he was just phenomenal. Around that time also, I heard another drummer on recording named Jeff Hamilton, and he's is probably one of my biggest influences. I've gotten to know him as well, and that's been an amazing experience in many ways for me. After living in New York, I moved to Kansas City, and in Kansas City I met several people who I still am in touch with. Kevin Mahogany, Karin Allison, Eldar. Met several musicians there who have really helped me understand how to use the drums in music and play music with the drums. I've been in situations where the tempos can be fairly brisk, and especially with my friend Eldar, he loves that, can certainly do it, and it's a lot of fun. One thing that I've kind of relearned, which I heard from the great drummer Peter Erskine in a clinic at one point years ago, was that the faster you're playing, the slower you need to think. In other words, if you have a tempo that's 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Instead of thinking 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, you think 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. So suddenly the quarter notes become 16th notes. And it's amazing how much then you aren't really having to worry about, how all the stuff fits together in a measure of 4/4. And also it makes your body more relaxed. And that's something that I've learned from watching guys like Mel Lewis and Jeff Hamilton, is just the total relaxation and letting the drums do part of the work, the rebound do part of the work. So if you can stay relaxed in your mind and in your body, you've got a great chance of playing fast tempos for a long time. The thing that I've found with Crescent cymbals, which continues to amaze me, and it's almost as endless as music itself, is the textures and the sonorities that are in these cymbals. Depending on where you hit them, how you hit them, you can bring out all kinds of overtones. One of my favorite things to do is to go into a little club and set up my cymbals next to a table of people, and they, of course, give you the look like, oh my gosh, this is, waiter, check. We got to get out of here before it gets too loud. And I say, just give it a chance, because I promise it won't hurt your ears. And if it does, I'll buy you dinner. And they never leave, because you can play so quietly on these cymbals that they never lose their character. The sound is full if you know where to play them, how to play them, and it never compromises the sound. It's got a huge dynamic range. I've used these cymbals in big bands as well, and they don't get buried. They cut right through all the sounds, and I just could not be happier to be playing these Crescent cymbals.